morning. The President's Select, we are back in session. Parties and council are present. All members of our jury and alternates are present. Our witness, Mr. Bowles, is back on the witness stand, and people may continue your examination.
Mr. Bowles, when we left off on Thursday, we were dealing with Exhibit 905. I want to go back and clarify something on Exhibit 530. I'll pull that up on the screen and bring it to you. A blue pen and a black pen. So it shows a little better using the digital form versus the paper form on the overhead. You indicated in your testimony on Thursday that there was a blue line representing one cell's azimuth range and the black line representing the second cell's azimuth range. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So on Exhibit 530, the blue lines can use the blue pen to write A1 and A2 at their respective end of lines. And then using black pen, you on the black lines for that azimuth cell, write B1 and B2 so we know that they're linked together. So I put it up in its non-colorful glory on the overhead. That's the A1 and A2, B1, B2 that you indicated on the exhibit.
Yes, sir.
So the clarifying question I wanted to go back to also was in the call detail records you indicated in one aspect the azimuth was 85, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And which one would that pertain to?
That would pertain to the B1 to B2.
And then the other as, I believe, azimuth 10?
Correct.
And that would refer to which on that 530 diagram?
A1 to A2.
Okay. The other clarifying aspect to that is, can you tell us and clarify for us, when a CDR phone record indicates a cell tower or a cell's azimuth is 85, what is it referring to?
So the 85 degrees is the center, or the center of the two sectors. So for example, from B1 to B2 would be the 120 degrees with 85 degrees being right down the middle of that. So in this case, 85 degrees would be sort of pointing in a direction to where it says Flurry Road to the right. That's an approximate 85 degrees, and then you can see that there's a the signal kind of carries a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right, which creates the B1 to B2 sector.
Do you have any understanding of why 85 would be the center as opposed to the half of the 120? So in that case, what would be 60?
Well, 120 degrees is the width of the sector.
Okay.
The orientation of that 120 degree slice of pie is 85 degrees. So one is, they're both called degrees, but the 120 degrees is the width, where the 85 or the azimuth is the direction of that 120 degree width of pie.
Gotcha. So they are those numbers are really independent of each other.
Yes, sir.
That the 85 is the dead center of that 120 degree range.
Yes, sir.
At least the direction that it's pointing, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then going to February 6th again, in the desert, which is exhibit 475. We go back to. Wanted to clarify one other little thing. In your initial testimony Thursday about how you went about plotting things on the map, you indicated you referred to some FBI historical data. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Can you clarify that for us?
Yes, so the data that I referred to is not called detail records from the phone company. They are a list of cell towers from the phone company that were acquired back in 2010, in the month of February. So those records are really just a list of the cell towers, where they were located, and how they were oriented in that time period.
But for your investigative purposes, when you plotted cell tower hits, what documentation were you relying on in, for example, creating this exhibit?
I was relying on the call detail records from the subject telephone provided to me by the sheriff's department.
And I guess another point of clarification from Thursday, if you know, or if you've been trained on this, if you can enlighten us, if a subject or myself is standing here and I dial a number, let's say in Denver, Colorado, does, in my phone, from what you testified to, would select the strongest signal strength in proximity to where I'm at, right?
Yes,
Because you said back then in 2.5 it would prioritize the towers based on strength, right?
yes.
Okay. So it selects a tower somewhere around the courthouse. How does my call then get to Denver? Does it go tower to tower?
Once it hits the tower, at some point it will get into what's called the backhaul or the core network, which is essentially like landline. It will route it to the other phone's carrier. In some cases, it may be going from, say, an AT&T phone to a Sprint phone or
some other phone company. Excuse me. And once it gets into that other phone's network, they will find their phone based on, there's various ways they know where their phones are, but they'll know the last general area the phone was at. And that company would then send out a paging message from all of the towers in that area until it finds that individual's phone, in which case, once it locates it, that phone will ring, and then that if that individual answers the phone, it will connect that call.
Okay, so getting back to where we left off in the analysis of the defendant's cell phone call detail records from February 6th. I'm going to do my best to keep track of the exhibits. I'll bring them back up to you, starting with exhibit 476 through 520. We're off at 476. And 476, what does it tell? What did you document for us?
476 is a map from February 6th, 2010. And it's a continuation from the previous map, showing calls between 2:22 p.m. and 3:14 p.m. in the Ranch Cucamonga area. 2:22 p.m. and 3:14 p.m.
Would this be again near what we've been calling the defendant's home towers?
Yes, it's in close proximity to the residence.
Can you please mark on 476 again for us? What were we using?
DR, I believe.
DR, I believe, for defendant's residence. In case we forgot, can you indicate on the diagram that approximate location for us? Just to get us back up to speed.
Yes, the approximate location is just above where it says Church Street. near, I believe this diagonal street here is Terra Vista, somewhere in this general area.
And then 477. Is that our next?
Yes, 477 is February 7th, the following day.
So then let me go back to 476 real quick. In examining the call detail records, did you note here something of significance?
Yes, 3:14 p.m. was the last call on the records for that particular day.
And then as we went to 477, is that the next time there was an entry on the records?
Yes, sir.
And what time was that?
10:35 a.m. And then the next one was at 11:17 a.m.
And again, on the, what we're calling the home towers?
Yes, it's the same towers that were used the previous afternoon.
And for consistency, since it includes that area, can you please mark on there a circle with DR again?
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so moving on to 478. Is that later in the day on February 7th?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you document there?
Between 11:46 a.m. and 4:06 p.m., the cell phone connected with the two towers noted, and it's in the Ontario area.
And 470, are we on 8 or 9? 8?
79.
79. You did it again. You even tried to keep track. So on 479, where are we at now?
This is a call, again, February 7th at 5:17 p.m. And this is the last call of the day in the Ranch Cucamonga area.
And again, back at the, what we're calling the home towers.
Yes, it's in proximity to the defense residence.
Again, for consistency, can you please mark DR on there with a circle for us?
Yes.
Moving on to exhibit 480, correct?
Yes.
Is that now on to February 8th?
Yes.
What did you document on February
The first call of the morning was at 7:26 a.m. At the cell tower in Ranch Cucamonga.
8th? Again, what we're calling the home towers.
Yes.
Can you please mark on that exhibit again, the defendant's residence approximate location?
Yes. Okay.
And that'll take us to 481 for the next part of the day, is that correct?
Yes, the next available cell tower connection is at 1:31 p.m. in the Corona area.
Just above the 91,
Yes.
and then at 141, where's that?
It's in the Norco area near the intersection of 6th Street and Interstate 15.
And are we on to 481, is that correct?
482.
Hit me every time. Back still on February 8th?
Yes.
Sorry, back on, still on February 8th?
Yes.
And where are we documenting towers, or tower hits at this time?
From 1:42 to 1:43 p.m., this cell tower connection is near Limonite and the Interstate 15, which is the Eastvale or Mariloma area.
Moving on to 483, is that correct?
Yes.
We're still on February 8th?
Yes.
And now what do we have?
It's a continuation at 1:51 p.m. There's a cell tower connection, I believe that's still Ontario, adjacent to Interstate 15, followed by a 1:54 p.m., a series of calls between 1:54 p.m. and 6:31 p.m. In the Ranch Cucamonga area.
And did you note the last call activity of the day on exhibit 483?
Yes, it was at 6:31 p.m.
And again, these 1:54 to 6:31 p.m. connections, is that near the home towers or area that we were talking about before as well?
Yes, sir.
Can you please indicate that on this map, since its orientation is a little different? Make sure we're noting where we're at.
Yes.
And can you just point that out for us on this projected?
Certainly. So this street between the two towers on the top of the page here is Church Street, and then the diagonal is Terra Vista, and the general area is right here and near that intersection.
And you noted the last activity was at 6:31 PM, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are we moving on to 484? Did I get that right this time?
Yes.
Okay. And are we on February 9th now?
Yes.
Is this the first activity noted in the CDRs since that previous 6:23 PM that was noted in the previous example? Sorry.
I believe it was 6:31 p.m.
6:31 PM. Is this the next activity that was noted in the CDRs?
Yes.
And what area is this, or towers is this hitting?
There are 3 different cell towers connected in the Ranch Cucamonga area.
And is one of those, if not more than one of those here, the home towers that we've been referring to?
Yes.
And please indicate that on exhibit 484 as well.
Okay.
And then exhibit 585, correct, is our next?
485.
Sorry. 485, thank you. We're still on February 9th,
Yes.
and where are the CDRs indicating hits at this time?
There are two cell towers connected between 10:39 a.m. and 11:35 p.m., followed by a connection at 12:22 p.m. A little bit to the east.
The one at 12:22 PM, is that near the defendant's residence?
Yes, sir.
Can you please indicate that on exhibit 485 as well? Moving on to exhibit 486. You have that?
Yes.
We're still on February 9th.
Yes.
And what did you document cell tower activity wise on this date?
There's connections at 1:07 p.m. and 1:59 p.m. in the kind of South Corona, North Lake Elsinore area.
Is that the Interstate 15, the big diagonal line running from bottom right, top left?
It is.
I didn't see the iconic highway insignia, so I wanted to make sure that's what it was.
Yes, it is.
And then 487. You have that?
Yes, it's a continuation of February 9th, and it has the phone connected to the tower at 2:31 and 2:33 p.m. near Highway 76 and Interstate 15, followed by a 2:43 p.m. connection to the north.
And at 2:31:33, is that near the towers near the victim's residence?
Yes.
Can you indicate that on there as well with VR and a approximation circle for that? Are we now to 488?
Yes.
Still on February 9th.
Yes.
And what did you document on this exhibit?
Calls from 3:34 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the Temecula area.
489, is that next?
Yes.
We're still on February 9th.
Yes.
And now what do you have?
From 4:49 p.m. to 10:11 p.m. Connections with the cell tower in the Temecula area.
And the last activity you noted for the day on February 9th was?
10:11 p.m.
That's off of, is that Pachanga Parkway?
Yes, sir.
Are we on to 490, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. This is February 10th. Is this the first activity since the 9th that you noted on the previous exhibit?
Yes.
And what time was that?
7:19 a.m.
And again, this is near the home towers.
Yes.
Can you please indicate the defendant's residence area on that exhibit as well?
Yes.
Is our next 491?
Yes.
Is that on February 10th?
Yes, it is.
And you documented what here?
2 cell tower connections, 7:28 a.m. Near, I believe it's Interstate 210 in the Rancho Cucamonga area, and the next cell tower connection is at 7:52 a.m. in the, I believe, well, it says Irwindale near the cell tower.
Is this the same general area? The 7:52 a.m., is that the same general area of Metro Sheet Metal that you indicated on Thursday in previous exhibits?
Yes, it appears to be in that general area.
Are we moving to 492?
Yes, sir.
Okay, keep it up now. Are we still on February 10th?
Yes.
And you documented what here?
As a series of cell tower connections, 4 different cell towers in the Azusa area between 7:52 a.m. and 9:20 a.m.
And is that in the relative general area of Metro Sheet Metal?
Yes, it is.
Can you indicate that on there, that general area with a circle in MSM, please? Now that I got distracted, are we on to 493 or 494?
493.
We're still on February 10th?
Yes, sir.
And what did you document here?
There's a call at 9:27 near the intersection of the 57 and Interstate 210, followed by cell tower connections in the Upland area from 9:44 to 10:43 a.m.
Taking us to 494, correct? Exhibit?
Yes.
We're still on February 10th?
Yes.
What did you document from the CDRs here?
11:28 a.m. connection on Foothill Boulevard, followed by a 12:37 p.m. connection on the cell tower just north of Foothill Boulevard near Church Street.
Are we back at the home tower by 1237?
Yes, that's correct.
And can you please indicate the defendant's residence location on that exhibit as well?
Yes.
Okay, are we moving on to 496?
5.
5? Okay. We're still on February 10th?
Yes.
And what did you document here at 1238?
There's a cell tower connection on a tower near Lake Matthews in Riverside County.
$496? 497?
496.
Okay, 496, are we still on February 10th?
Yes.
And what do you have there?
This is a series of phone calls that connected the towers between 1:56 and 4:15 p.m. in the Rancho Cucamonga area.
And was that 4:15 p.m. the last activity you noted in the CDR for that day?
Yes,
And you noted that on exhibit 496?
I did.
And can you please, again, put the defendant's residence in there the best you can without obliterating your 156 to 415?
Yes.
You have 497 in front of you.
Yes,
Does that pick up on February 11th then?
it does.
So the last activity on 496 was 4:15 p.m. On 497, the first activity is when?
8:29 a.m.
And where are we at now?
It's the Ranch Cucamonga area with one of the tower connections slightly to the east. That may be Fontana at that point. I'm not sure where the border is.
Okay. And then 498, are we still on the 11th?
Yes.
And what data did you document there?
10:26 a.m. There's a tower connection off of Baseline Avenue, just east of the Interstate 15, followed by a 10:31 a.m. connection just to the right. I'm sorry, just to the east of Rialto Municipal Airport near Interstate 210.
499, does that still take us the same day?
Yes, February 11th.
Okay.
Between 10:32 a.m. and 10:39 a.m., there are 4 different tower connections in San Bernardino, which is near the intersection of 215 and 210.
500, are we still on the 11th?
Yes.
You documented
Yes.
what hits here?
Between 10:50 a.m. and 11:07 a.m., cell tower connections in the area of downtown San Bernardino.
501, correct? We're still on the 11th?
Yes.
You documented hits where?
Between 11:10 a.m. through 11:17 a.m., just to the north of downtown San Bernardino near the intersection of Interstate 210 and 215.
502, are we still on the 11th?
Yes. So there's cell tower connections between 11:41 a.m. and 11:50 a.m. On Interstate 210 north of the 10 freeway, which is near Redlands. And it is at 11:50 a.m. it's the last tower connection until 2:08 p.m.
Does that take us to 502, the next map?
Yes.
And you documented what here?
This is the same day, February 11th. There are tower connections between 2:08 p.m. and 3:47 p.m. and with 3:47 being the last tower connection of that day.
So does that mean 503 takes us to February 12th?
Yes.
And you document on February 12th what?
The first tower connections of the day are at 4:32 a.m. Through 5:59 a.m., connecting to one cell tower in the downtown San Bernardino area.
.504 is our next, is that correct?
That was 504. This is 505.
505 is our next. Are we still on the 12th?
Yes.
And you documented
So 7:15 a.m., one cell tower connection back a little bit to the north from where the previous map was, near Interstate 210 and Highland Avenue.
then 506, still on the same day?
Yes.
February 12th, correct?
Yes.
And you documented what?
From 8:38 to 8:43 a.m., connection with the cell tower in the East San Bernardino, North Redlands area, followed by a connection at 8:58 near Interstate 210 towards the Ranch Cucamonga area to the west.
507, are we still on the 12th?
Yes.
And you documented here?
From 9:11 a.m. through 9:13 p.m., so the majority of the day, these tower connections were at the cell tower in Ranch Cucamonga.
Is this near the defendant's residence or the home towers we're referring to?
Yes.
Can you please indicate on this diagram without obliterating your 911 and that general location?
Yes.
Are we now up to 508? Is that correct?
Yes.
Are we still on the 12th?
Yes.
And you got here what?
At 9:32 p.m., cell tower connection in the Upland area.
5:09, still on the same day?
Yes, February 12th. And these are tower connections between 10:27 p.m. and 11:01 p.m. Back in Rancho Cucamonga.
Near the home towers?
Yes.
Can you please document the defendant's residence for us on that one for consistency? And since you documented that the last cell tower hit was at 11:01 p.m., does that take us to exhibit 510, is that correct?
Yes.
And that is February 13th?
Yes.
So on February 13th, what do you have for us on exhibit 510?
The first calls of the morning, 8:23 a.m. to 9:41 a.m., all connecting to the same cell tower from the night before.
And is this the quote-unquote home towers?
Yes.
Can you please indicate defendant's residence on that as well, without obliterating your 8:23 a.m. tag?
Yes.
Then moving on to 5:11, correct?
Yes.
And what do we have here on February 13th?
So this is a continuation of the calls from the previous map, starting at 10:07 a.m., followed by 10:09 a.m., followed by 10:28 a.m. with cell towers and moving in a southern direction.
Five 12, is that what we're on next?
Yes.
Still February 13th?
Yes.
And you documented what?
It's a series of calls in the Fallbrook area along Interstate 15, which is the highway running north to south, or vice versa in that through the center of the map. And those calls start at 10:48 a.m. and 12:16 p.m. Being the end of those calls.
And this is near, part of this is near the victim's residence location?
Yes, Interstate 15 and Highway 76 intersection is near the middle of the map.
Would that be where you, near where you indicated the 1051, 1106, 1134, 1209, and 1210 hits?
Yes.
Can you indicate the victim's residence general location on that as well for us, please?
Yes.
Does that take us to 513?
Yes.
So on February 13th?
Yes, these are continued calls from the previous map at 12:17 to 12:19 p.m. And this is a cell tower in the area of Rainbow, California, which is along Interstate 15 south of Temecula.
That's in between Fallbrook and Temecula?
I believe so. I know it's in the vicinity of where Fallbrook is. I'm not sure exactly where the city's at.
Does that take us to 514?
Yes.
And we're still on February 13th?
Yes.
And what did you document for us there?
So the next available call is at 12:26 p.m. Near Interstate 15 in Temecula, followed by a 12:45 p.m. connection slightly to the north of the previous cell tower connection, and then followed by a series of cell tower connections between 12:58 p.m. and 8:38 p.m. To the south off of Pechanga Parkway in Temecula.
That was, now moving on to 515, correct?
Yes.
Still on February 13th?
Yes.
And what did you document here?
There's a cell tower connection at 11:13 p.m. And it is the final connection for that particular day.
And this is near where?
Ranch Cucamonga, the same area where the defendant's residence.
Can you please indicate defendant's residence, general area on 515?
Okay.
So moving on to 516, does that then move us to February 14th?
Yes.
And you have for us what?
There's a series of cell tower connections on 2 towers in Ranch Cucamonga between 8:57 a.m. and 7:08 p.m.
You indicated on exhibit 516 that 7:08 p.m. was the last connection for the day.
That's correct.
Can you please indicate for us defendant's residence as you have been on 516, please?
Yes.
So if 7:08 p.m. was the last activity on the 14th, and it's shown on 516, moving to 517, is that for February 15th?
Yes.
And what did you have for us on February 15th?
The first call of the morning is 6:53 a.m. through 7:22 a.m. There's one cell tower connection in Ranch Cucamonga.
Is that near the defendant's residence as well?
Yes.
Can you please indicate on 517 DR for us again? Should do that.
Yes.
Okay, 518, is that still on February 15th?
Yes.
And you noted what activity in the CDR?
It's a continuation of the previous map with calls between 8:08 a.m. and 11:10 a.m. in the area of Azusa, California.
Is this near the location you had previously described that Metro Sheet Metal is located?
Yes.
Can you please indicate that in that general location with a circle and MSM as well?
Okay.
519, is that our next?
Yes.
Are we still on February 15th?
Yes. This is one call at 11:37 a.m. in the area kind of between Upland and Ranch Cucamonga, just near Baseline Road.
And 520, is that right? Is that our next one? Or 519?
5:20.
520. Are we still on February 15th?
Yes.
And what did you document from the CDR in this diagram?
It's a series of calls, cell tower connections. I think the next available one was at 11:43 a.m., followed by a series of calls between 11:44 and 5:34 p.m. On the cell tower near Church Street in Ranch Cucamonga, followed by a call at 5:51 p.m. slightly to the west off of Baseline Road, and then and then a call at 8:15 p.m. Up near Interstate 210, and then followed by a series of calls between 8:31 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. back at the cell tower near Church Street.
Can you please indicate on that defendant's residence for us too for consistency, please?
Yes.
Does that conclude your diagrams from the CDRs of the defendant's records at that point?
Yes, I was asked to map from February 1st to February 15th.
Okay. Thank you. So I wanted to ask you a couple things. The data that you were using to document these cell tower hits, that was taken from the CDR, is that correct?
Yes.
Of the defendant's phone records?
Yes.
Okay. And those phone records are reflective of 2010, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, 9 into 10?
Yeah, the phone records did start in 2009.
And the cell tower information that you're relying on is related back to that 2010 time period.
Yes.
Would any modern changes or changes subsequent to 2010, such as cell tower locations or azimuths or anything like that, assist you in this type of historical analysis?
Objection, foundation speculative, no evidence that there's any changes.
Overruled.
I'm sorry, can you re-ask that question? I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I get it right.
If technology or cell tower locations or their azimuths or any of that information changed since 2010, would that have been informative at all to you in your historical analysis of the CDR record?
Objection,
Yes.
this question assumes facts not evidence.
Overruled.
Yes.
How would it have been helpful?
It prevents me from conducting any field testing using what we call a drive test to determine coverage area of towers, because we can't recreate how the cell towers were oriented back at the time if changes had been made.
So if a cell tower changed the number of cells on it or changed their azimuth orientation, AT&T won't let you go back and reorient them to 2010 just for that purpose?
No, sir.
Okay. What's a drive test, by the way?
So a drive test is a technique we can use in certain cases where we have the call detail records in a short period of time after a crime occurs, usually a matter of months. And essentially it's an antenna with a receiver you can place on a car, and you drive around. And the best way to describe it is you drive around like the trash man. You drive on every street and alleyway and corner in the area around a cell tower. It takes sometimes days to do it. And as you're driving every second or two, it takes a measurement of the energy or the signal coming off of all the towers in the area. And through some software and some algorithms, the device will create an actual coverage area that tower covers. It's commercially available equipment, and it's equipment that that the cell phone companies use when they're trying to optimize their networks and determine if there's dead spots or areas that need better coverage.
Would the existence of a drive test 4 years later really been helpful to you in this historical analysis?
No.
Why not?
It would not provide an accurate representation of how the towers were 4 years prior to.
I think you mentioned on Thursday we were talking 2G or 2.5G technology in 2010. By 2014, what technology were we into?
Definitely into 3G at that point. I believe we were in 4G as well.
The exhibits, this exhaustive list of exhibits that we've gone through, these maps, does that constitute your report?
Yes.
Is that normal practice for what you are doing in this type of investigation?
Yeah, for the most part, we just create maps of the cell towers.
So you're just plotting data that's found in CDR?
Correct. We're creating a graphical representation of what's in the call detail record.
Is that peer reviewed?
Yes.
When you work for the federal government, I'm sure there's a layer of bureaucracy above you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why are they peer reviewed?
For accuracy, we also often sometimes catch mistakes. It's just always nice to have a second set of eyes look at it.
Since you originally created those exhibits in 2014 and we're now in 2019, did you have to modify them at all?
Yes.
And what modifications did you make?
My initial maps, I included some of the terminating cell towers. In 2015 and 16, I obtained a lot of extra training, and I learned how those terminating towers can be slightly less accurate than the first connecting cell tower.
Objection, foundation.
Overruled.
And because of that, I removed any of the terminating towers to provide a more accurate depiction as to which towers the cell phone selected. And I also added a a scale, which was something I learned in my training that was a requirement.
Would that be that 1,000 meter or 2,000 meter or whatever it was at the right-hand corner we saw of every one of those exhibits?
Yes, sir.
And that's just to give you scale based on the size of the map you're showing us?
Yes, sir.
Going back to the removing the terminating cell tower, does that change your analysis at all?
No, the cell tower connections are the cell tower connections. That's where, that's what AT&T says the phone connected to.
And back to your testimony on Thursday, what was the most important connection that you, in your line of investigation and historical analysis, is most important?
Well, the most important connection is any connection that's in the vicinity of whatever crime you're investigating. So in this case, it would have been the cell tower connection up in the high desert.
But let me backtrack something a little more general. Back to the basic technology of the phone versus the tower versus the network. In your analysis, what did you emphasize as being the most important for your investigative purposes in that channel?
It's the first initiated cell tower in the call detail records.
And why was that?
Because that's the cell tower that the phone chooses when it's requesting resources from the network, and it's not subject to control by that network as the terminating tower can be.
In preparing those exhibits, did you ignore any calls that did not fit any narrative that you believed existed in the case?
No, I mapped every call that was in the call detail records.
I'd like to go back to February 1st of 2010. We have turn back, Mr. Johnson. I'm going to refer you to exhibit 143.
Okay.
We previously heard testimony that some computerized QuickBook activity occurred from 12:24 p.m. to 12:52 p.m. Where would the defendant's phone, based on the CDRs, have been covering that time period?
Well, between 8:25 a.m. and 10:14 p.m., the only tower connections were these two near the defendant's residence. These specific times, I could look at the call detail records and see if there are calls in that vicinity, as far as time goes. But these are the only tower connections available for that day.
Had there been activity outside of those quote-unquote home towers, you would have noted that, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to move to February 2nd. We give you exhibit 450, which is being projected, which we covered on Thursday, for your reference. On February, we've heard evidence previously that there was some QuickBooks activity between 11:27 a.m. and 11:37 a.m.
Objection vague as to activity.
Overruled.
Would that activity be encompassed by what is the cell phone activity you noted on exhibit 4, I'm sorry, which number are we on?
It's 450.
On 450.
The times you noted, can you repeat those one more time just for?
11:27 a.m. to 11:37 a.m.
Yes, those times fall within the time frame of this map.
Had there been cell phone activity during that time period not hitting those towers, would you have documented it?
Yes.
We're gonna move us down to February 5th. We have two exhibits this time. 471 and 472, they were consecutive for February 5th.
Okay.
471 up there first. That was a 10:59 a.m. hit coming out of San Fernando Valley, correct?
Yes, it's I believe that's Interstate 210.
And then on the next exhibit was 12:49 to 2:23 p.m. based on the home towers.
Yes.
We heard evidence previously that there was QuickBooks activity between 12:06 p.m. and 12:39 p.m. Was there any activity on the cell phone that you did not document between that 10:59 and now the one we have here, 12:49 activity that you omitted?
Your Honor, I object again, as vague as activity. There's no phone calls to QuickBooks during any of these days.
Well,
And he's misstating the testimony.
Your Honor,
The objection's overruled. You may understand.
we saw exhibits of checkbook audits from QuickBooks with those dates and times. Had there been activity, other cell phone activity between the 10:59? 10:59, sorry, and the 12:49, would you have noted it?
Yes, I would have.
And then I think you have up here one of my other exhibits I wanted to use. I'm going to direct your attention for, I believe that's an 8-3 on the back.
Yes, that's what it appears. It appears to be 43.
Make sure I pull up the correct one. Okay. So 483, you noted calls from 1:54 to 6:31 p.m. off the quote-unquote home towers, right?
Yes, sir.
We have heard evidence of QuickBooks activity, including audit histories that covered from 2:20 p.m. to 3:51 p.m. Would that activity be covered by the cell phone hits range that you documented from 1:54 to 6:31 p.m.?
Yes.
Go back to February 6th. Putting back up there, I believe it's exhibit 475. These are the cell tower hits in the high desert. Remember that?
Yes.
At some point, were you informed of the potential significance of this date?
Yes. I mean, in relation to when the victims went missing.
You showed us in a previous.
Objection, foundation, misstates testimony and hearsay.
Overruled.
Is part of that the relationship, and I'm showing exhibit 531, the relationship between the cell tower that was utilized and where the grave site was found?
I'm sorry, can you ask that one more time?
Was part of that significance the relationship between where that cell tower was located and the location of the grave site?
Yes.
Did you look at the CDRs to determine whether or not the defendant's cell phone records, or CDR, showed hitting off that tower anytime previously during the period covered by the records, which was, I believe, January or February of 2009 to February of 2010?
I did.
And what did you find?
I found the only other time the cell phone connected to towers, in particular this cell tower, was on, I believe it was July 12th, 2009.
When you looked at that record, was there something significant about it?
Yeah, it was the same cell tower, but with an antenna facing to the, I believe it was more to the west.
So I'm going to go back to exhibit 530, the diagram you did with the azimuth directions on it. Can you indicate for us the rough direction of that azimuth for that reading in July of 2009?
I forget the exact azimuth. I believe I wrote it in the maps at one point, but I know it was pointing slightly to the west. I would just feel more comfortable if I saw the actual azimuth, or if I could look at the phone records.
Let me grab that for you then. This is 794. Apologize for it being so thick. Let's see if we can find that for us.
Yes. Okay, so for the record, this is on page 142, and the item number is 3441, showing a call at 10:57 a.m. on July 12, 2009, and the azimuth or direction from that same cell tower is at 325, which is sort of northwest direction.
So looking back at exhibit 530, can you give us an approximate direction?
The approximate direction would be generally towards the red triangle that is to the left of the cell tower.
Did you put that red triangle in there?
I did.
Oh, was it mentioned denoting?
Yes, it was an address I was provided by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department.
The defendant's sister?
Yes.
No objection, hearsay and foundation.
Overruled. I'm sorry, what was the azimuth for the July 12th?
It was 325 degrees.
And that was July 12th of 2009?
Yes, sir.
And the CDR entry number, was that 3441?
Yes, I believe that's what it was.
Okay. only previously hitting that one other time in July of 2009 on the opposite side of the tower.
There was a couple other calls that day that were in the high desert on July 12th, 2009. But that was it. There was only the one connection up on this particular cell site on that day.
Were you made aware of statements by the defendant about his activity in the desert in time frame?
Yes,
And what was that?
I was told that there were statements that he had not been up there.
Your Honor,
Time frame.
I'd object to this hearsay and foundation.
Overall, it goes to the reason he was checking other dates and what dates he may have found in that checking.
I assume it's not offered for the truth.
Correct.
And that was relating to February 6th.
Yes,
So that activity on the 9th in 2009 would have been important to you, given the fact that it was the only other time to hit that tower.
Objection argumentative.
Sustained cause for speculation and conclusion.
Last thing I want to talk about is in the review of the CDRs. And I may misuse this term, so correct me if I'm wrong. Did you do a toll analysis or an analysis of the frequency of calls shown in the defendant's records for that year?
I did for not the entire year. I believe I did some shorter time frames.
Okay, what were those timeframes if you recall?
I believe it was January 15th of 2010 through February 4th, 2010, and then I did it. The next analysis was from February 4th through February 15th.
So from January 15th to February 3rd, who was the most prevalent number that's shown in the defendant's CDR?
Can I see the spreadsheet? I'm sorry, I don't have them all memorized.
Okay, well, I'm gonna bring it up to you on my laptop. See if this refreshes your recollection.
Yes. So the number one most frequently contacted number between January 15th and February 4th was 949-295-7451.
And how many times?
230 contacts.
What was the second most frequent?
909-226-1197.
And was that through the 4th or through just the 3rd, January 15th?
I'm sorry, that was through the 3rd. I believe it was the 3rd at midnight.
Okay, and so then your next analysis was the February 4th through February 15th of 2010.
Yes.
And do you recall off the top of your head what the most frequent number called during that 11-day period was?
I believe it was the second most frequently called number I previously stated, the 1197 number.
Do you recall how many times it was contacted in that 11-day period?
I don't.
With a refresh your recollection, look at that report that you prepared.
Yes. 141 contacts.
And now the second most frequent during that 11-day period was what?
The 949-295-7451 number.
And between that 11-day period, how many times was it contacted?
39.
During your relationship with this investigation, did you learn the significance of February 4th?
Yes.
And what was that significance you learned in analyzing these numbers?
Objection, relevance and hearsay and foundation.
Sustained cause for speculation and conclusion.
At some point, did you learn that activity on the McStay's side ceased at some point on February 4th?
Yes.
Of your analysis of the 39 contacts between the defendant's number and the McStay number, of that 39, how many occurred on February 4th?
I believe it was 27.
So after February 4th, it would have been 12?
Yes,
My public school math is correct?
yes.
Okay. I have nothing further.
We'll take our morning recess this time, 15 minutes. Keep in mind the admonitions previously given to you, not to form or express any opinions about the case, not to discuss the case. We'll see everyone back in about 15 minutes.